If you are into military studies or martial arts, most likely you have heard about the legendary Soviet martial art called Systema. I personally love it, but it's true that these days it has very questionable reputation, bordering on the edge of bullshido.
But why is that? Is it true that this martial art is not effective at all? Or are the concepts of Systema itself just so freaking complicated and advanced that it's just something unreachable for an average practitioner? It wouldn't be appropriate to speak about the Systema Kadochnikova without speaking about the man himself. Alexey Kadochnikov was a remarkably interesting man. He was born in Odessa, in the Ukrainian USSR in 1935, in a family that had Cossack roots and was still profoundly serious about keeping the old traditions. After finishing his military service in 1958, where he got acquainted with the military-based Sambo, he has worked in the Scientific Research Institute for around 24 years, particularly in the areas of psychology and physics, two of the key elements that he would later integrate into his Systema. Remarkably, in 1983, he has become one of the top experts in mechanics in the Soviet Rocket Forces Division, which added the final ingredient into his brewing idea about developing the perfect fighting style. As a result, the holy trinity of concepts behind Systema became the emphasis on the human psychology during conflict, physics of the impact, and biomechanics of the human body in the fighting scenario. Interestingly, before becoming known as Systema Kadochnikova, Kadochnikov himself referred to his system as Combat Sambo, which to this day still confuses many practitioners. If you enjoy my content and you would like to know more obscure information about the Soviet Union, martial arts, or exercises, kindly subscribe to my channel. Frankly speaking, back in the days, the line was still quite blurry, since we all know from the previous videos, Sambo has started out as a military martial art before being turned into competitive wrestling and later on into a MMA-style combat art. However, there is one major element that pushed Systema into a league of its own, making it completely unique. According to Kadochnikov, with years he understood the essence of true combat and realized that styles and names are meaningless, however the laws of physics are universal. Due to the heavy emphasis on physics, he has created many unique training methods which in theory would make the body soft and flexible enough to go with the flow and let much of the damage slide off. Some of the training is particularly unique and looks rather fascinating and effective, especially the concepts about absorbing the falling damage, which I personally really like and had the chance to try it on myself. So, he redesigned his martial art from the core and even argued that it was not actually a martial art to begin with. He claimed that by learning the concepts, the physics of combat, the psychology of aggression, fear and dominance, you can defeat any opponent, big or small, fast or slow. Following his philosophy, there are no actual techniques in Systema, it's just a number of concepts which in theory could be absorbed into any martial system. According to Kadochnikov, you cannot really learn how to fight for your life in a martial arts school, since the controlled environment itself is the antithesis of the chaos which goes along with the real-life combat. So he emphasized again and again that after learning their core concepts of Systema, it's up to the practitioner himself to go on perfecting his skills by using them in the real fighting. Due to that, many practitioners still argue if Systema can be truly considered a martial art or just a theory. In Russia and the ex-Soviet countries, there are even some practitioners who prefer to refer to it as a fighting method of Kadochnikov instead. Nevertheless, people who claim to have truly understood the concepts of Systema swear by it as the most universal and true expression of combat there is, while others claim that it's just a gimmicky martial art that has failed its purpose. Kadochnikov himself never intended for his system to be widespread though, since he mentioned over and over that for the people who are not familiar with the advanced biomechanics, physics and psychology, Systema has little to offer due to them not being able to easily grasp its meaning. Nevertheless, for his contribution to the military, scientific and athletic fields, he was rewarded with a Medal of Honor by President Vladimir Putin. And he was being active in the further development of Systema until he passed away on the 13th of April of 2019. However, even during the time he was alive, his style has received a lot of backlash and criticism. For example, during the training sessions, everything is done in slow motion, rendering it completely ineffective at full speed. Critics say that you can make almost anything look effective if your opponent is moving in slow motion, and rightfully so, to be honest. Another gripe is the complexity of the biomechanical concepts, which are extremely hard to pull off in a real combat situation. And lastly, the large number of fraudulent and clearly incompetent coaches who have nothing to do with Kadochnikov himself are just making money by teaching their own half-baked understandings of Systema to the gullible students. And there are many modern self-proclaimed Systema masters out there. If you're interested in knowing more about them, leave me a comment below. So guys, have you ever tried Systema? What do you think about its concepts and about its effectiveness if compared to the more traditional martial arts such as karate or boxing? Kindly let me know in the comments below. So, see you in my next video, remember to stay strong, stay healthy, and to never neglect knowledge. Peace out.